The date, June 16, 1944. The time, 10:20 hours. The place, an obscure and remote vale located within the Normandy region of France, simply known as La Val d'Almont. 10 days into Operation Overlord, American forces have detected an anomaly of enemy activity in their sector some 2 miles behind the current battle lines. Not taking any chances as to the size and composition of the Germans operating in the area, Combat Command issued orders that a full company of reserve infantry be sent to investigate the situation. In this case, Captain Jonathan Dorn and Company B, 3rd Battalion of the 1st Infantry Division. Upon arriving outside the Vale, Dorn directed his executive officer, the armed scout jeep, and 3rd Platoon to continue eastward along Route D54 in order to investigate the site of an overnight ambush on an artillery convoy, the reason for their activation to this particular location. Captain Dorn, along with the 3 other platoons under his command, proceeded southeast towards the crest of the tallest bluff overlooking Almont, the rise referred to on military maps as Hill 146.
Our overall advance was cautious and a little uneasy because of the mystery surrounding our presence at Almont. It was apparent now that stray German troops were operating somewhere in the area, including at least one confirmed sniper. Ordinarily, a unit the size of Company B would be more than enough firepower to deal with a problem of this nature. However, something told me that this would not be the case. My initial battle plan was to deploy the bulk of the company, including the 3 light mortars and 2 medium machine guns, along the southern ridge of Hill 146. From there, we could look down onto the vale and the community farmstead of Almont. As for my XO, he and 3rd Platoon were tasked towards the burning convoy to check for survivors and locate any pertinent evidence regarding the attack. They would then move to secure the bluff immediately east of Hill 146, which, for purposes of this mission, I designated as Point Amos. Once fully deployed atop the 2 bluffs that straddled the only road leading in and out of Almont, I would attempt to assess the situation and communicate my findings and recommendations to battalion headquarters via field radio.
As for Kampfgruppe Eckel, their battle plan was quite simple, due primarily to their limited options. Lieutenant Eckel and his squad would occupy the main structure within the farmstead. This building would serve as the command post because it offered the best overall view of the pending battlefield. Nearby, across the hamlet center, another squad was positioned within the easternmost building. These men comprised the right flank defense. To the southwest, 9 more soldiers took up residence in a field collection barn, which also housed one of the self-propelled assault guns. The last of the troops deployed within the farmstead itself were those men whom Eckel referred to as the stragglers. These soldiers comprised nothing more than local garrison security as well as a field kitchen unit, all of whom were trapped during the chaos of the American advance inland. Their job was to field the 4 captured medium mortars to the best of their ability. Across the vale, to the extreme west of the hamlet, a complement of troops was positioned atop a wooded bluff immediately south of Hill 146. These soldiers comprised fully 1/2 of Kampfgruppe Eckel, including the only other officer and 1 of 2 available heavy machine guns. Although this group was somewhat isolated, their task was to guard the vulnerable left flank of the defensive line. The balance of the German force consisted of multiple independent teams in forward positions. These were a heavy machine gun positioned underneath the stone footbridge within the field irrigation ditch, 2 anti-tank teams concealed amongst the unharvested wheat crop on the outer fringes of the vale, and a single sniper team relocated to the east bluff overlooking Route D54 and the ambush site, the hill otherwise known to Dorn's men as Point Amos. Last but not least were the 2 assault guns. They would occupy the very same barns to the rear of this diminutive hamlet in which they had been hiding for days. The Sturmgeschütz 3, otherwise known as the Stug, is a 24-ton armored fighting vehicle built on the chassis of the older Mark III Panzer, which was Germany's very first medium tank design to see service. However, by this point in the war, the Mark III was obsolete, simply because its turret could only accommodate the now ineffective low-velocity 50mm main gun. The tank was therefore modified to house the larger caliber 75mm main gun, including this higher velocity version. However, the trade-off for the Stug was the fact that this gun was too large to be incorporated into a traversable turret on the Mark III chassis. Its primary disadvantage therein was the fact that the entire vehicle had to be maneuvered in order to engage a target. Two such armored fighting vehicles of this version were Eckel's ace in the hole.
Seitdem wir ganz hinter dem Battlefront an diesem Punkt rechtzeitig waren, war unsere einzige Auswahl, die Amerikaner zu verpflichten, wo wir standen.
Since we were well behind the battlefront at this point in time, our only option was to engage the Americans where we stood. A collective escape southward, in an attempt to rejoin our forces, was impractical, if not suicidal. The point was moot, however. The heavy rains of recent days had reduced most of the sunken vale south of Onmont to soft, muddy ground. As a result, it was difficult terrain for foot soldiers to negotiate at night, and virtually impassable for heavy vehicles like our Stugs. Given these circumstances, it was our duty, as soldiers, to combine efforts and use Onmont to our advantage, in order to divert American attention and resources away from our comrades along the front lines.
Trotz unserer Notlage und beschränkter Munition fühlten wir uns, als ob unser Fall weder hoffnungslos noch sinnlos war.
Despite our plight and limited ammunition, we felt as though our case was neither hopeless nor meaningless. In the hours following the convoy ambush, we set about entrenching ourselves into the vale. I was relatively unconcerned with the prospect of American armor making an appearance on the battlefield. This was a confidence that stemmed from the two Stugs at our disposal, the soggy ground behind us, and an irrigation ditch that crossed the vale in front of us, which served as a natural tank trap. Regardless, any enemy troops or vehicles that wished to dislodge us from Onmont would be forced to approach from across open ground. This was our foremost advantage, and our only hope of success. You're watching Tales of Virtual Combat on his Story Internet channel.